Okay, let's do a small one here on the Cro Magnon people. The Cro Magnons popped up almost like popcorn, being at the time the most advanced people on the planet due to their tools and everything that we have as showing archaeology to them as compared to others which were superhuman in a way, especially of the time, like Neanderthals and so on, but these were so much more advanced. One advancement that can be seen in that is that they used ranged weapons and perhaps invented the bow and spears that weren't made for holding and jabbing, but being thrown. And so they had a large advantage over many of the other humans at the time. And by the way, there were still hominids existing at this time, despite what you were led to think in school. But that's for another video or two. But they have been found to have ranged all across what was known as Europe and the Middle and Near East areas, and in the northern reaches of Africa too, by the way. And they were easy to identify even whenever you couldn't find one of their skulls or things like that went along with it due to their toolkits, which were quite advanced. But they also developed a large amount of jewelry and things of that nature. In fact, they also invented a type of flute that they would use. And people that have recreated them in a modern time have realized that they actually were tuned to the same notes of the scale that we use today. Much more like a flutophone or something that you might have had as a kid that they had developed. And so one archaeologist pinpointed and said that they had that and drums and bulrush whirls, which are the things they spin above their head and make whirling sounds, and other things. And perhaps there's a large amount of music that is going to never be known that these people had come up with. In fact, they gave examples, and I tried to do it in the first generation of this video that I'm talking through here, and it was flagged because this was something from a well-known company, and so I wasn't able to show it. But they were showing what type of different musics that they could come up with at this time, and especially with this flute, which has been used from deer bones and swan leg bones and things like this that I've shown in other videos. But there was much more advancement than that they had also. In some of my earlier videos, I showed where they had dwellings that were made out of mammoths that they had, and hopefully there's a picture showing up right now of which. But these dwellings that they had in them, covered with multiple layers of skins, would have kept them extremely warm. And they've also noted that in certain places where they have found them, and so there must be a lot of these, but it's so sparse and hard to find, that they had post holes dug in the ground where they would have used fallen trees or chopped down trees with their adzes and created dwellings much more like a modern form than you would ever think of. And speaking of how modern that they were, now after finally checking into genetics, they have been renamed to EEMH, which stands for Early European Modern Humans, because once they got the genetics out of somebody nearly 30,000 BC, they realized that that haplogroup still lists or still exists to this day. And so these people that we think of as Cro-Magnons are actually, in a large part, us, or what you would think of as Caucasians. There are many depictions giving of them, And even in the earliest depictions, whenever these people thought they were a different breed of human that was a super giant human, something that is much larger than today, something that we would think of as the largest people selected for football teams and things like this, that was the average of a lot of them back then. And a picture of here will show you that relation, which was amazing during the time, because we're looking at people that were existing through the last ice age, which caused diminution or smallness of a lot of people, which were barely breaking 5 foot tall, and these people were over 6 foot tall on average. And there are certain populations and areas that they have found that they reached above 6'6", and even taller, and women reaching over 6 foot. So it's quite different than what you believe or led to believe in a lot of people here on what they would have actually looked like or compared or whatever. And some depictions show them as being a slightly ruddy skinned type person, but they still show that they had lighter hair and perhaps lighter eyes. And I know a lot of you have seen depictions and even articles that may say that blue-eyed people originated somewhere around 10,000 BC, and that all blue-eyed people are related to these people that lived at 10,000 BC. But genetics have been able to peer back at it and say, when did this type of mutation happen? Because the early Western Europeans, such as Cheddar Man and so on, all had blue eyes that they've been able to find. And so they've been able to peer back through time, through genetics, and find that they actually date back to something like over 40,000 years, and much more like 60, which actually kind of corresponds with what dating they're now giving these people, of dating them to the oldest one that we know of as 56,800 BC. But the people even in that paper there said this couldn't have been the very first of them, that it must go back much earlier, and some have projected ideas of 65 to 70,000 BC. But still, at the same time, whenever they did the genetics of somebody who was around 40,000 BC, or I'm sorry, 30,000 BC, their genetic haplogroup still exists to this day. So it's kind of amazing. In an earlier video, I showed you where I played a type of Dungeons and Dragons game, and in part of their showing here, they showed that these people were actually maritime people, and that these people were also living in these houses and huts that were made out of the mammoth bones and so on. And that's been what we've been able to find, something going back 30,000 BC. Meanwhile, a Neanderthal type person would have been something like you think of as a dwarf in the old Dungeons and Dragons idea and mythology and Lord of the Rings and things, where they were an extremely strong human, but shorter, more squat, and extremely tough. But at the same time, these Cro-Magnons outclassed them to a point that is really remarkable. Whenever you find somebody who specializes in this, quite often they'll go off on a tangent on how remarkable these people were. So it's quite different than we're led to believe. And these ancient people that we know of as Cro-Magnons, again, are still with us to this day. And so there have been blends or hybridizations of different types of Caucasians along with Cro Magnon, who was the first one to be shown to have a prominent chin. And a lot of anthropologists have said the reason that all these other people showed up later with prominent chins eventually is due to hybridization between the ancient Cro-Magnons and the people that they were before, leading to a new form of humans. And so a lot of the things that we look at as evolution is actually hybridization. So it's a little different than people think. I believe Robert Seffer, in one of his videos, gave allusions to something along this line. But make no bones about it, pun intended, that these ancient archaic humanoids are really the first modern humans on the planet,